fine. But I don't want that big government telling you to do it. I think that should be in your hands. Trade in when you get out on your own, you got a lot of money in your pocket, trade in that big clunker or SUV, whatever you got, for a more fuel-efficient vehicle. I like to leave it in the hands of folks as to how they chart their course. How well will mass transit work over here? It won't. It won't work in most places. Why not? It's a great concept. You know what mass transit is for most people? It's what they want the other guy to do. They want the other guy to ride the bus or the train. When you survey people, a lot of people are enthusiastic. I bet we could ask for a show of hands, and the majority of the people in here say, yeah, mass transit's great. But when it comes to our personal application, we vote with our feet, and most of our feet are resting in the floorboard of a car. We like the independence of having our own vehicle. So I think in America we can find answers. We might drive smaller, and we might have to make them more efficient. Let's keep our independent spirit. Let's keep us free to kind of follow our own path. And by the way, I'm a big fan of mass transit, believe it or not. In Asheville, here's one of the problems. We subsidize at $5 roughly to one. For every dollar of fare, it's getting 5 local, state, or national tax dollars to subsidize. I like mass transit, however, in urban centers with its density, and it makes sense because I believe it's one of the best social services you can provide. A job and a way to get there, 2 of the best social services there are. I like it so much that I started a program over there called Top of Stop. Any y'all ever come to Asheville? I'm sure you do. Come over there for the museums, to look at the architecture of the city? Surely not. Why do you come to Asheville? For fun. Huh? Some of you come. You do come to Asheville. Come to eat. Certainly, I'm sure none of you ever go to bars or places like that. It's a great place to be entertained. You ever see those little bus stops we have? Anybody ever seen it? Raise your hand if you've seen one of those things. Anybody seen one? They're called Top of Stops. We've built over 50 of them, mostly with volunteers. I started that program about 4 years ago. I spent the night in a public housing development called Beaverview, wanted to see what the drug deal was like. I dealt drugs, crack cocaine outside my window all night long. At 7 o'clock the next morning, they got up and got on the bus, the city bus, and left. When I got done there, I left shortly thereafter. I went over to Piscaview to see what was going on over there. When I pulled into the development, there were 2 drug dealers on the corner. Tried to sell me crack. No thanks. Went on in the development to see what was going on. There were 3 people sitting in the rain waiting for a bus on a bench. Stopped to talk to them. They were on their way. I remember McDonald's. I remember Burger King. I don't remember the third one. I said, sure be nice to have a roof over this thing, wouldn't it? And they said, yeah, it would. It took me, this has actually been more like 5 years ago, it took me 1.5 years to get the permit to build a bus stop there. That's how much of a bureaucracy I had to wait through. But that led me to thinking, let's just get people out of the rain here. That's probably one of the nicest things we can do to folks. Let's get them out of the rain. So I started that program called Top Stop, using volunteers and donated money, not government money. Government at one point started putting in the posts for us. We paid for the posts and the concrete, but that's all they do. Volunteers and others have helped build those Top Stops. And it's one of my favorite things. Now, that's not something a conservative Republican is supposed to do. But a conservative Republican with a heart who believes in uplifting people who do exactly that and would be independent enough to do it. If I weren't independent, I couldn't have got it done. Boy, you wouldn't believe what a hurdle that was. Excuse me for babbling on. Questions? And I hope I don't skip anybody. You, ma'am, and then you, sir.
What do you think about Schuler's Save Act and its potential impact on agriculture in Western
I am probably one of the biggest anti-illegal immigration foes you will see in America. I came out with a press release applauding his initiative when he came out with it. How sincere it is, I don't know. Where it's going to go, I don't know. I would be stronger than he is about it. Why? I believe illegal immigration is the greatest law-breaking scheme in America's history, supported equally by the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Everybody look at them as they walk in. Appreciate y'all being here. And anybody that has to leave, get to class, get something to eat. I saw you had a Chick-fil-A. Guess where I'm going when we get done? I want a Chick-fil-A lemonade. They do have the lemonade? It's just like a regular Chick-fil-A? Oh, I'm excited. It's a good thing. Thank you all again for... I didn't mean for everybody to leave when I said give people an excuse and they run and escape. Thank you all for coming. Hang in there. What's next? The question? I'm going to come back to it. I want to give everybody a chance to escape here first. The greatest law-breaking scheme in America's history. Why do I say that? Supported equally by the Republican Party, which is looking for cheap labor, and the Democrat Party, which is looking for easy votes, a voting bloc. And they're complacent about it. And every president from this one on back to Ronald Reagan and even Jimmy Carter has been largely complacent about it. Why is it wrong? Historically, America's absorbed about 250,000 legal immigrants a year. I was born in London, England. My mother's English. My father was a sailor. He was raised over here in western North Carolina. I'm not against immigration. Every country in the world was founded on immigration. The word is illegal. We've absorbed 250,000 people a year. Now in America, we're absorbing over 1 million a year legally, plus another 1 million plus illegally. We can't absorb that many people. It doesn't work. I am very active on Asheville City Council in resisting illegal immigration, and for a lot of reasons that might surprise you. I really don't blame folks for coming over across the border. I blame that lousy government in Mexico and other countries that does not uplift their people and create such a horrific system. Can you imagine getting up and walking and fighting your way to do what folks have to do to get out of these countries? From all the way down in Guatemala and way down South America. It's just crazy what people do to get here. What are they running from? Well, we know what they're running from. We can't really blame them. I blame their governments. I blame our government for not protecting our borders and doing the easy thing. I blame most of all the employers who sidestep the law and provide the money and the jobs that feed the flood. And do you believe for 1 minute they're doing it because they want to uplift those people? Not on your life. They're doing it because they're greedy. They're greedy. Promise. They're not trying to uplift anybody except themselves. Now, there are certainly exceptions. But in my experience with a lot of employers, there aren't many. There's a lot of myths around illegal immigration. Let's start with one. What's the dropout rate in America today? 30%. What's the mental dropout rate in America today? Who knows? Mental dropout rate means how many people are graduating from high school without the skills, the tools they need to compete in a tough world. A lot. What's the dropout rate for minorities in America? About 50%. For black males in Asheville, North Carolina, this makes me sick at my stomach. You want to talk about racism? It's close to 70%. And we allow that to go on. Why do we allow that to go on? Because we don't need those young people. Now, you all are probably going to have a place as college graduates. You're going to have a place in this culture. By golly, you come out of high school without that diploma and without the skills you need, we're robbing you of your bridge to the future, and that's wrong. And the reason we're doing this, we don't need it. We've imported this labor pool, hard-working labor pool, from south of the border largely. And so we can ignore these young people. I'll tell you another group we can ignore, and that's the poor. Those people sitting on that bench for having to live in Pisgah and deal with gunfire every other day and thugs and violence and all kinds of horrific things. I've done battle with that for years and won't stop in Asheville. That drug culture, that crack culture that's destroying so many people. You have students right here at Western that drive to Asheville to buy crack in Pisgah, Beaverview, and other places, Hillcrest. But those three people on that bench, it's wrong that they're going to McDonald's and they're going to make $7 an hour. Can you live off of $7 an hour? No. You cannot have a car. You cannot have a place to live. You cannot pay your bills and live a decent life on $7. You just can't do it. Well, America has a free market economy, but it's rigged. They're not allowing it to work. And if you import this labor pool that's used to working for $4 a day and works hard, and they're not bad people. I don't have an anti-Latino position. I have an anti-illegal position. And if you import those folks, then you keep wages artificially suppressed. And so you force people toward these entitlement programs and becoming wards of the government, and you rob them of their dignity and their future and their opportunity, and that's wrong. And I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm going to fight it with every out of my strength, and I do.